Welcome to this intensive vocabulary masterclass explainer. Look, if you're aiming for that elite CLB 9+ score on your CELPIP exam, you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we're not just, memorizing random lists of words, we're actually decoding the language using a categorical suffix-based structure. It's literally the ultimate shortcut to unlocking those high scores. Because once you understand how these endings completely change a word's function, your lexical resource flexibility is going to absolutely skyrocket across all your tasks. So we've got a packed agenda today. We're going to master 4 specific categories: adjective suffixes, dynamic verb suffixes, abstract noun suffixes, and profession suffixes. Let's just jump right in. Section 1. Adjective suffixes. High-scoring descriptive words. Okay, let's dive into this first one. Listen closely. Responsible. Responsible. 负责任的. And its exact opposite. Unreliable. Unreliable. 不可靠的. The key collocations you absolutely need to remember here are be responsible for and highly unreliable. Now, in CELPIP writing task 1, you're often going to have to write complaint letters. So if you're complaining to City Hall about transit late arrivals, calling the bus system highly unreliable, and stating the city should be responsible for your financial losses, that sets a perfectly restrained, highly professional Canadian business tone. It's firm, but it's polite. Next up on the list, portable. Portable. 便携的,手提的. Basically, this just means capable of being carried. Some really great collocations are portable device or portable heater. This makes it absolutely perfect for speaking task 1 when you're giving advice, like recommending a portable stove for a friend's camping trip. But hey, here's a totally fascinating Canadian cultural quirk you might actually hear on the exam. Because a lot of schools run out of space in their main buildings, they build temporary classrooms out on the sports fields. And in Canada, these temporary buildings are literally just called portables. Moving right along to edible. Edible. 可食用的. Let's look at the collocations. Edible plants, or barely edible. Now, a quick aside, outside the exam room, you might hear this term used as a noun to describe legal cannabis products here in Canada. But, and this is crucial, strictly within the context of the CELPIP exam, this word exclusively refers to safe, regular food. You're most likely going to encounter this in reading Part 4 science or nature passages. Think of a text about hikers learning to distinguish between toxic mushrooms and edible ones. Section 2. Dynamic verb suffixes. Action words for professional tone. All right, our first verb is terminate, terminates, 停止, 结束. Your key collocations to lock in are terminate a contract or terminate employment. Now, if you get a writing task 1 prompt that asks you to cancel a service or maybe an apartment lease, whatever you do, don't just say you want to stop it. Use terminate. This is the absolute standard, highly formal vocabulary used in Canadian HR and real estate. Writing, I am writing to formally request to terminate my apartment lease is going to instantly elevate your score. Next up is criticize. Criticize. 批评,挑剔. Now, what's really interesting here is the cultural context behind it. Check out the collocation, constructive criticism. You see, Canadian workplace culture heavily pushes for inclusion and politeness, so direct, aggressive attacking is really frowned upon. Instead, professionals much prefer constructive criticism. When you're tackling writing task 2 and expressing opposing views, use this exact word to show the graders you understand that nuance. So, instead of merely criticizing a system, suggest offering viable solutions. Moving on to Section 3, abstract noun suffixes, the core pillar of academic writing. Let's kick this section off with a really foundational word. Employment. Employment. 就业. 雇佣. The must-know collocations are full employment and employment rate. You definitely need this for writing task 2 economy prompts, but honestly, more importantly, you absolutely must know about employment insurance, or EI. This is a massive, massive piece of the Canadian social safety net. Knowing this context is completely crucial because it frequently pops right up in civic or societal test questions. Our next term is mobility. Mobility. 流动性,移动能力. The high-scoring collocations you want are social mobility and mobility issues. In Canada, whenever you're discussing infrastructure for seniors or individuals with physical challenges, saying someone has mobility issues or uses a mobility scooter is the highly preferred, politically correct terminology. Make sure to deploy this in speaking task 7 when you're proposing community improvements like ramps and elevators. And closely related to that is disability. Disability. 暂期无能. Top collocations include physical disability and learning disability. Canada places just an immense focus on accessibility and inclusion. You are absolutely going to see this in Reading Part 3 community texts. Very often, it'll be in the context of those ubiquitous extra-wide disability parking spots. You see it quite literally every single Canadian grocery store. Okay, let's take a look at assurance. Assurance. 保证确信保险. The collocations here are quality assurance and give an assurance. Now, quality assurance, or QA, is a massive industry department in Canada. So if you're writing a Task 1 customer service complaint, referencing a manager's personal assurances that just weren't met is a brilliant, highly formal way of applying pressure and expressing your disappointment. Next, we have confidence. Confidence. 信心, 自信. You want to pair it with have confidence in or boost confidence. I personally call this the golden attitude word. Seriously, in the Canadian workplace, phrases like, I have full confidence in this team, are just standard everyday morale boosters. Use this in speaking task 5 to confidently persuade someone to choose your preferred option. It works every time. Moving on to a word of conflict, stubbornness. Stubbornness, 固执, 倔强. The killer collocation here is share stubbornness. In speaking task 6, you often have to handle some pretty difficult interpersonal situations, right? Well, using this abstract noun is exactly what you need to gracefully yet firmly explain to a supervisor that a coworker's stubbornness is making a project totally impossible. It's incredibly descriptive and just very high level. Next is completion. Completion, 完成结束. Make sure to note the phrases upon completion of and successful completion. So the crucial point is this. Basic test takers just say when we finish, but CLB 9+ candidates, they say upon the successful completion of the probationary period. Even real estate closing days here are called completion dates. Simply swapping out the word finish for completion is going to immediately elevate your lexical score. Our final abstract noun for today. Comprehension. Comprehension? 理解, 理解力. The best collocations are reading comprehension and beyond comprehension. If you happen to get a writing task 1 prompt about, say, terrible service or a wildly unfair parking ticket, use this highly expressive Canadian idiom. It's beyond my comprehension. It perfectly communicates deep frustration while maintaining absolutely perfect, high-level vocabulary. Finally, Section 4, profession suffixes. Identifying the experts. Take our first word in this section, economist. Economist, 经济学家. Collocations include leading economist and chief economist. If you follow Canadian news, you'll know chief economists from major banks like RBC or TD are constantly referenced regarding the housing markets and inflation. So when you hear this word in listening part 6, you immediately know the topic is pivoting straight to money, forecasts, or government policy. And our final word for the explainer, actor. Actor. 男演员, 现场泛指演员. You'll want to use collocations like lead actor or supporting actor. Because Vancouver and Toronto are globally known as Hollywood North, with massive film industries, it is actually extremely common for CELPIP listening Part 3 daily conversations to involve friends discussing movie auditions or maybe forgetting their lines on stage. And there you have it. By cracking this suffix code, you've literally just hardwired 15 high-level vocabulary terms, complete with real-world Canadian context, directly into your exam strategy. So I'm going to leave you with this challenge. Which of these powerful suffix patterns are you going to actively deploy in your very next practice test to secure your CLB 9+? Keep analyzing, keep practicing, and go absolutely ace that exam.